Hello, Fit for Service family. It's Dr. Nick here. My last day as a 42-year-old, and I start tomorrow, June 9th, 2023, as a 43-year-old. So, yeah, I just wanted to be here with you. Nervous, it's funny, so I'm just going to be and share some stuff from the heart, share about some audacious goals, and whoever finds this, great. And I know we're all inundated, so don't feel like you're missing out if you've got too many videos to watch. So yeah, for those who don't know, I am a medical doctor by training. I finished in 2006, med school, and then I was in my last year of residency in 2010. When I burned out, I was catatonic, suicidal, no idea what to do. I had, the year before, lost one of my closest friends to an ice climbing accident with another friend. His name was Evo, and that destroyed my support network, and that's critical, as we all know. And then almost a year later, I had a 2.5-year-old patient who passed away unexpectedly, and just the idea that I might have had something to do with it, the miscommunication and the possible blame, it just broke me. And so I left, and I never returned just before completing my pediatrics residency. And it was a hard journey because that was the way it's supposed to go, but I realize now that there were so many exit points that I missed, and there were actually exit points in life. Like, I noticed as I was about to finish that I would be doing great work, and I'd probably be dead in 10 years, because I was single at the time. I weighed almost 100 pounds, so I was quite sickly, blood pressure of 150 or 110, and just not taking care of myself at all, always putting others first until I couldn't anymore. And so I took a couple years off, did the whole antidepressant route, got and worked at Apple for a while as a genius fixing computers just to do something. It was fun for a couple of years. It was right around Steve Jobs' death. And then a couple years later, someone found me there and said, "You're not supposed to be here with your MD." And went into the pharmaceutical world, where I actually got into a space which is making an impact, but it was still the pharmaceutical world. So it was a lot of fun, but challenging. And so I burned out of that. Thankfully, I'd met my beloved wife, Iris, at the time. She agreed to quit her job, so we traveled Southeast Asia for 3 months, came back, and I was like, not again, I'm not gonna go back to that again. And I found life coaching, which was great for a while, a couple of years. I found transcendental meditation, found medicine work, partnered with a beautiful team at Intronaut, and then it was last year that everything changed again, and left that and started venturing out on my own. And it was hard because for 6 months I had no idea what I was doing. And really, it was around the time that I joined Fit for Service that everything changed. People approached me and asked me to hold ceremony. Breath was taking off in a different way, and actually stepping into the masculine, drive, vision, creation, and recognizing my way of doing things, and it's okay to do things my way. As you heard at the last summit, that blessing of the Father has been the thing I've been searching for and didn't realize, whether it's from my own father, whether it's from my different teachers, whether it was from the coaching team, whether it's from even the medicine men that I was working with and apprenticing with. And finally now it's like, okay, how do I be me? Still seek guidance, but not desire that blessing, and notice when it comes up. And so through this, just a few things to share why I'm so grateful I'm here. In 2018, I did my first ayahuasca ceremony and healed from lifelong asthma. And what that was about was tumbling all the way back to my birth and the grief around that, because my parents had lost a son at 2 months of age before me. His name is Fabian. And so they were terrified when I was born, and they were worried. And I absorbed that out of love and held that in my lungs. And I was finally able to release that grief. And now the practice is to keep releasing grief. I have the capacity to absorb, but do I want to hold on to it? And I went from being terribly asthmatic, 5 medications a day, to now medication free for 5 years. And it was a sign that everything is possible. I thought Western healing was the way to go, and it's not that it's bad. Because when my own son was born, we had to escalate all the way to the hospital to C-section, and then he came out not breathing. And so I was actually part of the resuscitation, there for the intubation. Left to take care of my beloved, and then when I came back, the whole room was cleared. And there were like 30 hospital staff around, and they were doing an echocardiogram looking at his heart, and I knew what this was. Most likely it was a major heart malformation. And I realized in that moment there's a part of me that said, no, I don't want this. I know what this means. I would rather you die, because it's probably going to end up that way. We'll probably get divorced. It'll just be stress and strain. I want to be like in those video games where you get to go back in time and start from a different save point and choose a different path. And this is all happening very quickly in my mind. And then I realized, am I willing to be present? Am I willing to grow up and actually step into this? Because that's what the call is. And I said, yes. Whatever happens, I'll be with it. And then shortly after, I found out that it was pulmonary hypertension, totally reversible. And I felt like I won the lottery. And so we spent 13 days in the ICU. It was fantastic. He was extubated. Everything happened faster than it was supposed to. And we've a healthy 2.5-year-old now. And I recognized his wisdom in him being the teacher right away, showing me that he was the teacher. And showing me that he didn't want to live like I did, where we could worry about him all the time and his health and safety. Every day is just a gift. There's an exit point on the first day. And so there's that choice that's there. And so he brought into me a sense of wonder. I already knew about Ohana, spiritual family. That was from the breath. And my life purpose before that was joy, just having fun. But that sense of wonder, like everything, even today, just walking here to this place so I could actually record this, it's just wonderful. And every time we get together as a community, it feels like it's wonder, joy, and Ohana. Like the Ohana's there, we're spiritual family. Like never knowing what's going to happen, every moment just being a sense of wonder, and it's just having fun. And so I'm so excited that we get together more in July, in October, in December, and I have no idea how I'm going to do this, because I brought it up to my beloved, and she's like, wait, what? How many more things are we doing? And so I realized every moment is going to be a choice. I desire and I want to be there, and I have no idea how. So that's a little bit. And so what next? Well, first there's a breath coming up, and I look forward to seeing you there, and I'm going to create more of these and co-create them with you. So hopefully I'll get some responses for time, and it'll keep changing. This one I created with Haley, and I'm so grateful for that. And what I would like, and now that we've opened up Fit for Service, is feel free to invite anyone who you feel called to breathe. People that you love who are ready for this, and especially those who want to join, or who are newly joining, because it's a way to experience each other and be with each other. So I look forward to breathing lots of people, because this leads into my audacious goals. So my audacious goals within 6 months, and it happened to be December 2nd, 2023, when it was going to come up, is to create $100,000 worth of value per month. And it had started with creating $10,000 in revenue per month, but I realized that was the old system of wanting, taking, giving, all that stuff. And this one is so much beyond what I can imagine in a way that it's going to require me to think outside the box. And it's about value, because it's about being of service. Everything else will fall into place as well. And at first I thought, how am I ever going to do that? And funny enough, I'd already got an example. So After the first summit, there was a 2-week period where everything fell together, where I was holding breath sessions and medicine ceremonies that fell together. And one of the medicine ceremonies, one of the ladies told me if I could help her with her insomnia lifelong, that it would be worth $100,000. And she's been sleeping ever since. And so it's hilarious how that happens. Like, the value is already being created. And in the real world, in those 2 weeks, I created over $10,000 of revenue. So both and. It's almost as if everything is just an example. It's showing that it's already possible. Now, how do we do it consistently? And how do we do it with more fun and ease with the team? Because I can envision breathing 1,000 people online at once, and if the value is $20 a person, and if we can step outside of it being diluted because there's more people, but rather it's just a bigger energy field and quantum healing, and it's actually going to be even more powerful, then the value is actually way higher than that. But let's even leave it at that. And how do we put together something like that? Well, I know the facilitation part. You got that. But all the logistics, the people, the funneling, the gathering, the pre and the post care, because it's so important to have that. Whether it's coaches with their integration circles or anything else like that. Those are the parts that I want to bring together and bring a team together, because facilitating transformation, you don't want to leave them in that space. How do we actually open them up to receiving more and from more places, so it's not creating dependence either? It's not about me. And I often say to people, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, you're going to be okay. You've woken up your intuition. You'll know where to go next. It's not about dependence. And so know that my audacious goals are going there macro big, 5 sessions of 1,000 people per month, and micro small. People who have created wealth, who are willing to dive deep into their work, who are willing to invest and create that value out of it. And so know that right now, for example, when I do a breath session, it's $369 is the usual exchange. When I do a medicine session, it's usually $3,690. And then I'd love to create sessions which are so much more than that and more impactful. And it's not about, am I better or worse than anyone else providing? Like, I was joking and teasing someone the other day. I was like, there's no way. If we try to compare to like the Fit for Service container, I'm like, I shouldn't do anything because it's not going to be as polished as that. But it's not about comparison. Comparison's profane. Is this the right modality at the right time for the person? And that's what they feel, and this is what they're willing to invest. And if they do, then that placebo effect is beautifully there as well. The more that you put in, the more that you're going to get out. And so know that I'm putting this out there in a way as well, because I would love for those who are ready and willing to just say yes and want to jump in and dive in, to work together. Because I know that there's a team that's going to come together. And I wanted to share a little bit about myself, because I haven't met all of you yet, and some of you will be called to this. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of life and part of everything changing. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of the hearts of my family, because it's been so much freaking fun since I joined Fit for Service. I look forward to seeing you in Lockhart, in Sedona, and then wherever our graduation is. This year as well, I look forward to seeing you at Burning Man. I have no idea how that's going to happen either. And I look forward to whoever I go with and lead with the trip to Egypt, because that's another thing that's come up as well. So there's so many plans and possibilities and places to play. Let's play together. Let's make magic. Love you all.